Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Today we're going to go into how $22 million of cryptocurrency is mined every single day. So these are new coins mined, again, every single day, put into the crypto ecosystem. And these are all on coins that have volume. Okay, so if you mine these, you can sell it. So not only are we going to break down exactly where this 22 million comes from, we're going to talk about what hardware is mining what coins and really break it down into segments. What ASIC, which are application specific integrated circuit miners. It's these purpose-built machines like the ant miners. Okay, what are they mining and how much piece of the pie do they have? We're going to go into GPU mining, graphics cards. We're going to go into CPU mining, just a central processing unit, the chip that's in literally every computer. So not only breaking down how much money is being mined every day or really minted in digital currency, right? We're going to go over what is mining it, and then I'm going to elaborate on how, if this is interesting to you, how you can take part in mining this cryptocurrency and increasing your passive income. Honestly guys, I'm really excited for today's video because it's going to be really eye-opening to just look at not only how many dollars are being mined a day and what that translates to in a Bitcoin Satoshi value, and then also just what is mining all of this. Okay, like what hardware is responsible for so much of just this potential revenue being mined, and this is why mining farms have become and will continue to be such a big thing. They're not going away. Not at all. Thanks to an anonymous furry donor, we're going to be running a Bitcoin giveaway on today's video. All you have to do is leave a comment on this video with your Bitcoin address and the coin that's most interesting or the hardware that's most interesting to you for mining. And also you may want to thumbs up the video because the way the giveaways are going to work this year is for every thumbs up we're going to give away an additional Satoshi, or the anonymous furry donor will. So no ceiling. If it has 1 million likes, that's going to be 1 million Satoshis. Oh, and by the way, guys, we're chasing 100,000 subscribers. We're only 8,000 away. Please hit that subscribe button and help us get there. It means everything to us. Let's go ahead and run 10 seconds of Tails, our beautiful Doge Shiba Inu. It was a nice day yesterday, so we had some fun with the hose. Roll the intro and jump into today's video. Alright guys, I'm excited to go over this stuff. So we're going to use on-chain effects right here, which was acquired by Masari. A pretty cool platform, but they're trying to charge you for like everything lately. So anyway, you can use this stuff for free. I'll have a link to this in the video description below, so you'll be able to just click it down there and it'll take you exactly to this chart. You can customize it and make it your own or whatever you want to do. So this is going to break down a lot of mineable coins, and then we also have pulled up some stats for other relevant coins that are not on here. I'm going to go over the numbers, kind of show you where they came from and then what's contributing to that, and then I'm really going to break down what all this means and then how to participate if you want to. So right off the bat, 22 million. But I mean, Bitcoin's a little low today in my opinion. We got over 15 million of that, and it's consistently been 16 plus million. New issuance. So just new coins again mined just within 24 hours. $15 million. $15 million. That's crazy. This is a digital cryptocurrency blockchain. People think making money out of thin air. It's bigger than that. Next up is an incredibly important coin when it comes to mining, because it really revitalized the GPU mining just in cryptocurrency when it came onto the scene, and it's issuing $3 million every 24 hours currently. That's a lot of freaking money. Quickly you see it drops off, but I mean, these are still no numbers to laugh at. Remember guys, this is daily, not like annually or monthly. Daily issuance right there. Whether you like Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin SV, their new issuance every 24 hours is quite large. And if you think just how quickly Bitcoin SV came about, that's a ton of money to bring into the ecosystem through mining, just from a Bitcoin fork like that. Some people would say that this is taking away, legitimacy and, potential new issuance valuation in US dollars from Bitcoin, but that's debatable and not the point of today's video. Litecoin, which, has had a lot of ups and downs over the last year, still issuing quite a large amount of money in the last 24 hours again, and that's just at a price of $50. Wasn't that long ago, it was trading at $100, which would have obviously doubled this. I don't know why I didn't have it ranked under this, but I just clicked that and fixed that. And just so let's backtrack for a second. Bitcoin, ASIC mined. Ethereum, it's really ASIC mined, but people like to think that it's still GPU mined. It's not. It's majority ASIC mined, and we have stats to prove that. Bitcoin Cash, ASIC mined, SHA-256 mined, which is the same Bitcoin mining or the same mining algorithm as Bitcoin, as well as Bitcoin SV. We have Litecoin, which is script mined. It's a different type of ASIC miner. Then we have zcash right here, which was the Equihash mining algorithm, originally GPU mined, and now solely ASIC mined. We have Ethereum Classic. Again, some people like to think it's GPU mine, but it's going to be an ASIC mine dominated miner algorithm. So the key thing here with Dash, and I didn't fact check this to be honest, so right now it's putting the new issuance of 24 hours at 125. Okay, so I believe that means that only 60,000 US dollars are being mined, because about 50% of the block reward goes to miners and about 50% of the block reward goes to masternode holders. Basically people with very big stakes on Dash. And if that's not the case, then it'd be 250,000 that's issued daily on this blockchain, but I believe it's going to be 60 and 60 there with a approximately 50% split. X11 mining algorithm, that's going to be ASIC mined yet again. We have Monero XMR, which was a GPU mined coin, GPU and CPU, and then it went ASIC, and they weren't down with that, so then they forked. It was CPU and GPU, and now it's forked to just a strictly CPU algorithm. I know that was a lot to follow, but yeah, CPU mined coin, the biggest and most important CPU mined coin ever, unless you count the original days of Bitcoin. Doge, which is a script coin. It's all mined by big China script farms. It's never been profitable to mine Doge. Well, within recent history, it used to be GPU mined and more fun, and they had like a vibrant community and all the awesome memes.
All-time high this week of $900. Now, at its peak, if you have invested $1,000 a year,
But all of that has since died since it was taken over by China ASIC farms, because it's not really fun to hype up something you can't really even participate in. Then there's Justin Sun's Tron, also Lisk, and Digibyte, which supports a multi-algorithm chain, which is pretty cool. So several different types of hardware can mine this, from ASIC miners to FPGA miners, and that's pretty much it right now. But yeah, there's different algorithms, and honestly, it's a pretty cool feat. There's Bitcoin Gold, which is trying to be GPU mined, but they've suffered from multiple 51% attacks, and just yeah, not a coin I'd personally be holding. The security's not there. Then we got Verge, VoskCoin, and PivX, all totaling barely $10,000. But there's some other pretty notable coins. So we have a cool write-up on Beam and their block rewards and issuance. If you want to read it, it's in the video description below. But basically, 72,000 beams are mined per day. Probably be pretty happy, even with today's prices. Enough of the nonsense though, let's jump into the video. Today is going to be all about mining Beam and a little brief synopsis of what it is. It was originally double that at 144,000 beams mined per day, but now again it's 72. And when we take that and convert it to USD, that's going to be about $36,000 mined in Beam every single day. Another popular, often mainly GPU mined coin, but looks like FPGAs are trying to tackle the Merkle tree proof MTP mining algorithm, so they're evaluating moving away from that. But right here we have about 4,000 Zcoins mined per day, and it totals, it would round up, almost $20,000. There is Ravencoin, which created a massive surge in GPU mining interest when it came out, and then there were Ravencoin ASICs and FPGA mining on their algorithm. And let me just tell you that GPUs do not dominate this algorithm by any means right now. But here's the interesting part, is that Ravencoin emits a ton of coins every day, and their block reward is 5,000 coins every minute, right? And then there's going to be 1,440 minutes in each day. So if I did the math right, they produce almost $200,000 of coins per day. So it's really no wonder they get so much interest from FPGA miners and ASIC miners. But did I mess up on the math? I'd appreciate if you guys fact check me and let me know in the comments below. There's also Grin Coin, and it really produces a surprising amount of USD daily issuance. So there's about 86,400 Grin coins mined a day, or grins mined a day, whatever, Grin mined a day, and it's mining over $60,000. That's a lot of money. Then there's also obscure coins, some kind of pump and dump-ish, or just not on bigger exchanges, harder to track and whatever. But Trade Ogre is kind of like one of the underground exchanges, right? And some of these coins here, I mean, we've talked about Pirate before, but things like this Mimblewimble coin, Electronera. Mimblewimble coin is not Grin or Beam, to be clear. And then, you have like Haven and some other stuff. But, doing 4, 3, 2 Bitcoin in volume for these smaller cap coins here, it's nothing to laugh at. And, I mean, Bitcoin's a little bit under 10 grand right now, but let's say just round up for easy math. We've got almost $10,000 in volume just off these. Again, pennies in the bucket compared to the 22 million we're talking about, but still really interesting to evaluate it all. So now you've seen the numbers and you can see where a lot of this is just simply coming from. But what kind of hardware is mining this? And then we can kind of move into how you can potentially participate if you want to and take your piece of the pie out of this $22 million generated every single day. $22 or $22 million every day. That's crazy, right? Okay, so right off the bat, almost $16 million of that 22 is all around Bitcoin mining. So it's really no wonder why there's so many just Bitcoin focused specific mining farms. It's the biggest, it's the baddest, it's the best crypto from a mining revenue point of view. Simply put, I mean, nothing comes even close. The closest coin to Bitcoin is Ethereum with almost $3 million of coins mined every single day. With that in mind, if we total up all of the other mineable cryptocurrencies, guess what they total out to? If we round up, $3 million. Okay, so you take Bitcoin and Ethereum off the table, literally everything else is mined for about totals up to about $3 million. So just kind of put that into perspective. If you've been focused on, some other potentially up and coming coins like mining zCoin and Beam, which we've talked about here on the channel, projects that we think have merit and just good focus and purpose, just decent freaking projects in the crypto space. Sadly, that's kind of hard to find. Here's what's really crazy. If you take the 24-hour issuance of these coins and you look at just hardware, let's start with CPU. You'd think it'd be one of the smaller ones, right? And it is. So every 24 hours, $100,000 are mined every single day. Not even a drop in the bucket compared to $3 million on Ethereum, which Ethereum is a drop in the bucket compared to the $16 million mined a day on Bitcoin. Okay, and let's look at GPU mined. And if we evaluate this from GPU specific only, and I went out of my way to get some more popular GPU mined coins, like rolling in the volume from Beam and zCoin and Grin. You take those coins and you look at GPU specific coins that we know are not dominated by ASIC or FPGA miners or anything else that's crazy. This just kind of hurts to say. It's only about $100,000 a day, which if you're so focused on GPU mining, you are just chasing a micro piece of the pie. And I'm not advocating for ASIC mining or anything else. I'm just laying out the numbers here. But you're like, well, $100,000, but you said that Ethereum did 3 million. Okay, so I don't believe the GPUs dominate Ethereum, period. I absolutely don't. Some of the numbers are, some of the stats support that. So let's go ahead and be optimistic here. Let's take $1 million let's take $900,000 of daily issuance goes to Ethereum miners, Ethereum GPU miners. Okay, you would still only have $1 million GPU mined compared to $21 million that are mined with basically ASIC miners, but we rolled CPUs into that, I guess. So just think about that. Again, a tiny drop in the bucket. Even if you take all of Ethereum's daily issuance, which is absolutely not accurate. I mean, the 100,000 doesn't even come into play. I mean, you got 300 or 3 million mined versus $19 million mined on ASIC miners, and just all these other coins, things that GPUs are outclassed in, because GPUs are a multi-purpose hardware. Okay, so if you want to mine with your gaming computer, or you want to build a GPU mining rig, that's great. They're awesome. We love GPU mining. It's really cool and fun. But just understand that, a GPU miner will never beat an ASIC miner. It's purpose built. That's all this thing does. It's better than your GPU rig that can mine multiple algorithms. I mean, it's just like, it's the jack of all trades versus the specialist. Okay, why do you think that people specialize in things? Even people will get really good at just one thing. And you take someone who's really good at one thing, or the best at one thing, for someone who's great at a lot of stuff, the guy who's the best will always beat the person who's just great at everything, because that guy's the best. This is what he does. To be honest, I'm kind of shocked when you drill these numbers down. It's something I feel like people don't talk about. I never really thought about it from this point of view, and I just really took for granted having Ethereum is the backbone of GPU mining. You chase this hot new coin, and it's good mining opportunity, speculative, whatever. But was only possible because GPU or Ethereum was taking the bulk of these GPUs that wanted to mine. You take that off the table, we go from 3 million. You got hardware set up for $3 million plus of daily issuance, trying to eat $100,000 a day. And that's why GPU mining revenue is in the toilet this year. Why CPU mining is not as popular as many people wanted and hoped is because, one, Monero is a good coin and project. So a lot of people wanted to get into it. There was a big lead up to RandomX, their CPU mining algorithm, and so people have time to prepare, and it's something people can mine and be long-term, bullish and comfortable with. No one's really worried about holding Monero. It's still going to be here next year. A lot of coins you may not have the confidence to say that with. Also, there's a CPU in literally everything. It's easier to just harness these things. There's bots that try to, take over people's CPUs or steal your CPU power on a website. There's a lot of different things. At the end of the day, everyone has multiple CPUs in their house if they're any sort of a nerd. And why wouldn't you throw them at the coin that you like? It's going to create more competition. And outside of Monero, there's not too much when it comes to CPU mining, other than some recent projects we may have talked about, like Varus. So to round out CPUs and GPUs, we talk a lot about this stuff on the channel, so we're just going to talk about this real brief here. But when CPUs come into play, basically Ryzen CPUs from AMD are the absolute best by so far. They're awesome CPUs for everything, especially gaming, and even more so, mining. They're awesome. When you get into high-class Intel CPUs like the Xeon class, you get these server-grade PSUs. They get a lot of cores, and they become mining beasts, by default with so many cores and just being a more powerful CPU. The lower grade Intel CPUs aren't that great. When it comes to graphics cards and GPU mining, basically, the newer, bigger, and better graphics card is likely to just be a better GPU miner. For example, any 20 series card is going to beat a 10 series card. You take a 1070, NVIDIA 1070, versus an NVIDIA 2070. The 2070 is a better card across the board for everything. A lot of this comes down to CUDA cores in regards to NVIDIA mining. The more CUDA cores, generally speaking, you'll get a faster and more efficient mining card. As far as AMD goes, sort of the same stuff. You have a newer, better graphics card like the 5700s versus like a 570. The 5700 is going to blow that 570 away. It's also a more recent card. It's better for gaming. You may likely carry a warranty with it, and it's going to hold much better resale because the 470s and 570s / 480s and 580s were made up just such a massive bulk of the GPU mining, gold rush of 2017, 2018, that there's quite a surplus of them. So now let's look at ASIC mining, which dominates the massive output of this daily mining revenue, and what gear is the best for that. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at the Mining Farm PDU by Scott Alford, the sponsor of today's video. So he's made a mining specific PDU. And this is a PDU centered around farm deployments. It's meant for dealing in bulk. Its input is 208 volt 3-phase, and its amperage is 120 amps. So you're like, man, I want a PDU that can handle more than 30 amps. Well, if you're building a mining farm, you need a PDU that can handle more than that. So if you're looking for big industrial grade mining farm PDUs, you should contact Mining Farm PDU. $16 million mined a day on Bitcoin. So obviously you're going to want a Bitcoin miner. We've talked a lot about mining Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners, but basically you'll just want the latest and greatest Bitcoin miner, or you want the best deal you can get on hardware. For example, if you get like an S17, which is not the most recent Bitcoin miner, but the one before that, if you get that miner for a great deal versus paying like a marked up S19 miner, then the S17 may very well be the better play here. But generally speaking, you'll just want to grab the latest and greatest Bitcoin miner. A lot of this comes down to your electric rate, because if you have a really cheap electric rate, you don't need as efficient hardware. But if you have a, not as competitive electric rate, then you will want more efficient hardware, because, per watts you're spending, which is like your basic measurement of electric here, you'll get more terahash per second, which is the base measurement of Bitcoin mining here in 2020. So if you get more terahashes per watt, or you use less watts per terahash, you have a more efficient miner, and thus it'll be more profitable long term. But again, a lot of it comes into how much you're paying to get into this machine. You got to make that back. Also, there's the Bitcoin halving, which we didn't even talk about today, but that's going to cut that daily issuance in half in May. Let's talk about Ethereum mining and the $3 million issued on that a day. Well, again, you can mine with GPUs and you'll be like right above breaking even on your daily electric costs mining Ethereum with your GPUs right now. But let's say you mine it with ASIC miners. There's the Antminer E3 and the InnoSilicon A10, which running into DAG issues here. A DAG is just a piece of the Ethereum mining protocol, and it's growing, and it will continue to grow indefinitely. And some stuff is coming out looking like GPUs, even if they're 8 gigabytes, will have issues, or may not even be possible to mine Ethereum once the DAG grows over 4 gigabytes. We're looking into that. And please understand that these big companies, $3 million a day, they have Ethereum miners, I'm sure, that we don't know about, and some people can confirm that. And when I say that, it's like, they build these Ethereum miners, ASIC miners, for big private clients. They make a ton of money, and then they make a ton of money, they're the buyers. And you just the little guy here, and you don't have millions of dollars to throw down on this stuff and all the connections, so you just kind of get left out, and it's really not all that decentralized. It's why GPU mining is so appealing, because you can go to Best Buy and buy a graphics card. You can get on Amazon and buy all the pieces you need to make a GPU mining rig. You can't go on Amazon and order up your components to build an Ethereum ASIC miner. Looking at one of the other coins with the biggest daily issuance, Litecoin, kind of running into the same issue here. Script mining algorithm, the L3 Plus was a crazy miner when it was released. And you can see my numbers. I'm pulling about 0.7 of a Litecoin a day, which I think equates out to like 33 bucks or something. So pretty freaking awesome returns as far as how many coins you were mining a day, the daily profitability. Luckily, we got one of the early ones there, like the third batch. We made a review on it way back when. It was a really fun time and really engaging to crypto and just kind of like grassroots mining approach. And it was really exciting to buy an ASIC miner, like your first ASIC miner. But now fast forward, you see some of the issues with ASIC mining. Like there's an Antminer A5, a better, more efficient Litecoin miner. I can't even buy it. They won't sell it. When are they going to sell it? Whenever they want to. Maybe when they have a L7, right? We would speculate that it's going to be a better, more efficient Litecoin miner. So maybe then they're going to sell us the old model. It may not even be reused hardware, but it is going to be an older design. And that's one of the reasons why people get so frustrated. But if you do want to participate in that, you certainly can. I want to bring this stuff up because I don't want to mislead you. Like, it's not as simple as like you get an L3 Plus and you're going to bankroll it today and, this big chunk of daily mined coins. You will be able to access good Bitcoin miners and attack, not attack, but mine Bitcoin. But you're going to be outclassed if you go after Litecoin, just because there's better miners out there that you can't get right now. Kind of the same thing with Ethereum. Other than that, we have the Antminer K5 coming up, which is going to mine Nervo CKB, which we talked a lot about here before. Previously GPU mined and FPGA mined, and now it's going to be ASIC mined. And so it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. Well, subscribe to the channel and you'll see what happens. Rolling through some of the other top gear like zcash and the equihash mining algorithm, we have the Antminer Z series, which they have the Z9 Mini and the Z11. And we haven't really seen many updated miners since then. Silicon had their own, comparative versions, but there's been no big equihash releases publicly, since that. And that really rounds out most of the coins other than Dash and the X11 mining algorithm, which is dominated by the Spondoolies SPX36, which we reviewed a while ago. Great miner, works well, very high energy consumption, very high heat output. Definitely not something you can get down with residentially, unless you have a mining shed or something, but even then, it's really set up for farm deployment. It's even why it's designed like a server case. So with all this said, guys, you can absolutely get into mining. You can absolutely get a piece of this passive income, mining daily issuance pie, right? That was a poorly put together sentence. And you can do it. But please understand there's a lot of barriers to entry. There's a lot of research you got to do. And it's not as simple as just going online, buying something, it shows up at your house, and you make a ton of money. And currently, those days have passed. If we get another crazy bull run, which really everyone's kind of hoping for, then those days will be back. So I don't know, guys. As always, we will see what happens, and we'll be here trying to update you the best we can on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. If you enjoyed today's video, or even if you didn't, please hit the thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe. We're chasing 100,000. Please help us get there, and we'll see y'all on the next one.